The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Luke. Large crowds were traveling with Jesus, and he turned and said to them, "Whoever comes to me and does not hate their father and mother, spouse and children, brothers and sisters, yes, and even their life itself, cannot be my disciple. Whoever does not carry their cross and follow me cannot be my disciple. For which of you intending to build a tower does not first sit down and estimate the cost to see whether he has enough to complete it? Otherwise, when he has laid a foundation and is not able to finish, all who see it will begin to ridicule him, saying, 'This fellow began to build and was not able to finish.' Or what king going out to wage war against another king will not sit down first and consider whether he is able with 10,000 to oppose the one who comes against him with 20,000? If he cannot, then while the other is still far away, he sends a delegation and asks for the terms of peace. So therefore, whoever of you does not give up all their possessions cannot be my disciple." This is the gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
Last weekend, Deacon Dennis preached about something new that we're starting here at the parish with a message series, a new way of approaching our homilies. And last weekend's Shield, I wrote a little bit of in the article about the summer, but about this transition. A number of months ago, Father Pedro, Deacon Mark, Deacon Dennis, and myself read a book. We had a little bit of a book club for homilies, and it's called, the book was called Rebuilding Your Message. It's written by the pastor and his pastoral assistant from the Church of the Nativity in Baltimore, Maryland. And I've been down there at conference, and they're doing some innovative and different things so that we can more effectively take what we hear, take what we experience here in the gift of our faith, and gift of Mass on the weekend, and then being able to apply that, living that out as faithful and loving disciples, messengers of the good news. And so that transformation takes place. So about 2.5 days in July, the four of us got together in a cottage in Grand Bend and shared and talked about the book, what it meant to us, what kinds of things we can apply here in the parish, but also spent the 2.5 days saying we want to embrace a different format of our homilies, namely doing message series. And what that means is that we take a common theme from various angles over more than a one-weekend period. And so this weekend starts our first message series called Make It Right, Building a Life of Discipleship. Now, the great thing what we did for this, when we started developing the message series, we took a look at the readings, what the theme we want to build on and emphasize and make connections with. And then what we did is every weekend we looked at the readings and said, this is what we want to talk about. And we worked on it all together. And so we were able to put the framework together for 2 message series, this one and the next one that will begin in mid-October. And after doing that, a couple weeks later, we then assigned who was going to preach on what weekend. And so we worked on them together. So we're excited about it. Now, the one disappointing thing is it won't make the homilies any shorter. But hopefully better for you, but also for us. This new message series is kind of going to the roots of our parish, of what we're trying to do. We're trying to form disciples who reach out to all. We try to conform ourselves or be molded and shaped by Christ, like St. Francis, like St. Therese, like St. Jude, to go out in this world and be those loving messengers of hope. But the question becomes is, how do we do that? The parish needs to be that place that helps form, shape us, instruct us, educate us, inspire us to then go out. But it has to be real, has to be concrete, has to be tangible. And for us, over the last 4 or 5 years, we looked at and developed with parish staff and parish council this call of this 6 qualities of a faithful disciple, that there are 6 areas in which we as parishioners of St. George, to be faithful disciples, are going to place our effort and energy. And in fact, all of our ministries and of all of our programs in the parish over the last 4 or 5 years have gone back to those 6 qualities. And for this weekend, we're going to be focusing on one. But of course, the name of this series comes from Make It Right. Everybody knows Mike Holmes, right? He's had a number of different renovation construction series, famous construction contractor in Canada. One of his series was Homes Inspection, and he would go into people's homes that had problems, and he would all point out all the mistakes that were made by the contractors, by the construction workers, all the corners that were cut, and that's why here's the problem. And then he would have to go in and fix them. Right? And so his motto is make it right. From the very beginning, from the very plans to the execution of building a home, doing a renovation, doing everything right so that it lasts, so it doesn't fall down, so it doesn't go into ill repair. Well, that's true too for us in faith. Sometimes we want to try to cut the corners, not do everything we know we need to do to stay close to Jesus and to be strengthened in faith. Sometimes we're fearful, sometimes we're in a rush, we don't have time. But just like building a home or doing a renovation project or building something, you got to lay out those plans. You got to figure out the costs, and then you follow that plan. And so over these 6 weeks, we're going to talk about how can we make our faith right in our lives so that we can be those messengers. And the first quality, this weekend, we're going to talk about formation. It is important for us to realize that Jesus is our master and teacher. We need to listen and follow. We are called to learn, grow, and deepen our understanding of faith. It's not good enough for us just to profess and memorize what the church teaches. It's not enough to know what we're supposed to do, but we need to know why we do it. We need a deeper understanding of the gift of our faith. We have to kind of enter into formation. And so we see the parish as this place of a school of faith in which we come to learn, to understand, and hopefully find the answers to the questions of faith that we're looking for. And that will deepen and solidify our understanding of what we believe and why we believe. And we have a lot of formation opportunities in the parish already. There's an article in the Shield this weekend of we asked 2 parishioners to reflect on formation opportunities in the parish. One was done by Wanda, one of our parishioners, who talked about formed.org, this website, which you can compare to Catholic Netflix, right? They have Bible studies, they have Catholic movies, they have podcasts, they have ebooks, they have all these resources and materials, and it's free. Well, the parish pays for it, but it's free. You can watch on your computer, on your smartphone, on your tablet, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. In the Shield, Wanda gives a beautiful reflection on how that has strengthened her faith. And there's also instructions on, if you've never been on before, this is how to log in. It's phenomenal stuff. The other article in the Shield this weekend is from Joe Cardillo. And Joe helps with a team organize our Roman Roadhouse events once a month at the Byron Legion Hall. And he talks about how Roman Roadhouse is a chance to take a look at kind of the issues of the day in our world, even in our city, and the gift of our faith and kind of how we combine them. Bishop Fabro was here for the Saturday night Mass, and he was one of our guests in Roman Roadhouse this past season, in addition to Bishop Joe Dombrowski. This month in September, as we kick off the new year, Dr. Chris Mackey, the director of the London and Middlesex Health Unit, is going to talk about the opioid crisis, the challenge that we have in our city, and how we can work together to help address the issues that people have. And even at the Byron Legion, we have free pizza, snacks. You can have a glass of wine, a glass of beer, soda. water, but just to come together. And we have a great series. In addition, we had this 6 weeks during the summer with a video series by Bishop Robert Barron on the Mass. The title was Understanding the Mass. We know we come to church, we say these prayers, we do these things, but what for? Why? Well, that whole series, he goes through why we do the things that we do. There's the difference. We deepen our understanding. When we deepen our understanding, we value even more the gift of faith that we have, and why the church calls us in a particular way to be a disciple. And we have our faith movie series. We got lots of formation opportunities, our Faith 101 series, where all these, and we all have questions. We need to take the time to get in depth to find the answers. Because Jesus says, for which of you intending to build a tower does not first sit down and estimate the cost to see whether he has enough to complete it? Here I have the blueprints for St. George Church. Not all of them. Those who built this church, the contractors and the construction workers and all the people, had to follow a plan so that we, and back in May, celebrated with Bishop Fabro 20 years of this building. They had to follow these plans so that we have what we have here now, this home of faith. Well, if we're going to be disciples, we're going to have to plan out and find out those blueprints that God has for us of how we're supposed to be formed, how we're supposed to be shaped. We got to study the plans so that we can then become those great messengers, those saints of today, like the ones in front of the altar, sharing the good news. And part of finding the plan and discovering the blueprints is by coming to Mass, by taking the formation opportunities to dive in deeper into our faith, not only for ourselves but for others, because Jesus goes on to say in the gospel, whoever comes to me and does not hate their father and mother, spouse and children, brothers and sisters, yes, and even their life itself, cannot be my disciple. Whoever does not carry their cross and follow me cannot be my disciple. Those are sobering words. What Jesus is saying, the only way you can follow me and be completely filled with grace is if you place me first above everyone and everything else. He's not saying you disregard everyone and everything else, but you place him first above all. And we love our family, we love those in need, we have our possessions for the sake of his glory, for the sake of his love. We love others through God's love of us. But to be a disciple, and as we go through these 6 weeks, to truly be able to follow Jesus, we need to place him first. And then see how everything else in our lives falls into order, falls into place. So as we continue in our Mass today, we enter into this message series on discipleship. We need to think about what formation opportunities can I take? There's many in the Shield this weekend. Think about it. Jump onto form.org, take a look and see what's there. Think about, we have the whole fall Roman Roadhouse schedule. We have all these different ways to enter deeply into the faith. If you have questions of faith that you don't understand, and you don't know why the church teaches this or that, find out where you can get the answers. If you don't know, give us a call. We'll help you to deepen our faith, because to be a messenger in this world, offering light and hope to those in need, we have to have a strong sense of faith. We need a strong trust in God, and we need to follow his plan to build a faithful and loving disciple. We have our construction site here in the sanctuary. We've got the blueprints. Let's follow where God leads us.